Antarctica is the least understood and most mysterious continent in the 21st century. Many people today don't have a solid grasp of its true size or shape, often seeing it as a sprawling, misshapen blob at the bottom of two-dimensional maps, if it's even shown at all. In reality, Antarctica is the world's fifth largest continent, larger than Australia and Europe, and closer in size to South America. To truly appreciate its scale, imagine overlaying it on North America. Antarctica is significantly larger than the continental U.S. states, with distances spanning from the Antarctic Peninsula to the other side comparable to those from the Canadian Arctic Islands to Mexico. If placed over Europe, it would stretch from northern Norway and Finland down to Iran and Iraq, and past Ireland into the mid-Atlantic to the west. Despite its massive size, Antarctica is almost completely empty, with a human population ranging from 4,000 during the summer to only 1,000 during the harsh winter months. The brutal weather with temperatures plunging below 34 degrees C and months of darkness isn't the only deterrent. Antarctica is also incredibly remote. The nearest large human settlement, Ushuaia in southern Argentina, is about 1,000 km away from the Antarctic Peninsula, separated by the notorious Drake Passage. This stretch of water is one of the roughest and most dangerous parts of the world's oceans, where the Southern and Pacific Oceans flow into the Atlantic, allowing winds and currents to gain strength and create waves up to 20 meters, 65 feet high during extreme weather. Given these conditions, it's no surprise that human eyes likely didn't see Antarctica until the 19th century, with the first recorded discovery by a Russian ship in 1820. Even now, over 2 centuries later, we know very little about what lies beneath the massive Antarctic ice sheet. Ice covers more than 98% of the continent, leaving few exposed areas. On average, the ice sheet is over 2 km thick, and at its thickest points, it can reach nearly 5 km, almost as tall as 6 Burj Khalifas stacked on top of each other. Antarctica holds an astonishing 61% of the world's fresh water within its ice sheet. If this ice were to melt, global sea levels could rise by around 60 meters, causing catastrophic flooding that would wipe out Florida and much of the U.S. Gulf and East coasts. The ice sheet is so thick and impenetrable that we know more about Mars's surface than what lies beneath Antarctica's ice. Instead of drilling through kilometers of ice, we've used planes to send radio waves down and analyze their echoes, a method known as radio echo sounding. However, due to Antarctica's immense size, larger than Europe, mapping it this way is expensive and time-consuming. Consequently, over 90% of what lies beneath remains unknown. What we do know is fascinating. Beneath the ice, Antarctica isn't a single landmass as it appears. If the ice melted, the Antarctic Peninsula would emerge as a separate archipelago of mountainous islands called Lesser Antarctica, while the rest of the continent, Greater Antarctica, would remain above sea level and be about the size of Australia. These two regions have different geologies and histories. Greater Antarctica consists of ancient igneous and metamorphic rocks, while Lesser Antarctica is younger, with sedimentary and volcanic rocks. Interestingly, Lesser Antarctica is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a belt of tectonic fault lines and active volcanoes around the Pacific Ocean, existing for about 35 million years. This makes many islands in Lesser Antarctica volcanic. Mount Erebus, the highest active volcano in Antarctica, is the southernmost active volcano on Earth and has a lake of molten lava within its summit crater. It erupted as recently as 2020. The area around Mount Erebus has an average year-round temperature of 7 degrees C, dropping to 62 degrees C in winter, cold enough to cause frostbite within minutes or instantly freeze water. Despite this harsh environment, there's an intriguing world beneath Mount Erebus. Hot steam from the volcano has carved out tunnels through the ice, creating subvolcanic ice caves where temperatures can reach 25 degrees C, 77 degrees, warm enough to walk around in a t-shirt. These caves could potentially harbor life. In 2017, a team from the Australian National University found DNA traces of algae, mosses, and small animals in the soil within these caves, hinting at a possible sub-Antarctic oasis of life, similar to species known to live on the surface. Some of the DNA traces found in the warm caves beneath Mount Erebus don't match any known species but are most similar to arthropods like shrimp, centipedes, or spiders. This suggests that there might be undiscovered arthropod-like species living in these caves. Additionally, there are 15 other active or semi-active volcanoes across Antarctica that could have similar warm, steam-carved tunnels beneath them, potentially harboring unknown ecosystems. Planes equipped with radio echo sounding have revealed a vast hidden landscape beneath Antarctica's ice, complete with valleys, riverbeds, and hills frozen in time. One of the most fascinating discoveries is a canyon beneath the Denman Glacier, identified in 2019, which plunges 3.5 km below sea level, making it the deepest canyon on any of Earth's land surfaces, far deeper than the Grand Canyon. In 1958, Soviet researchers discovered the Gamburtsev mountain range beneath the ice, comparable in size to the Alps, with peaks reaching up to 2,700 meters. This range, stretching for about 1,200 km, is buried under more than 600 meters of ice and snow. In East Antarctica, researchers have detected a significant gravity anomaly spanning 243 km wide and 848 meters deep. This anomaly, first noticed in the late 1950s, might be an ancient 480 km wide meteorite impact crater, possibly the largest ever discovered. If this crater was formed by an asteroid, it would have been 40 to 50 km wide, massive enough to stretch from Central Park in New York City to Connecticut. This potential impact crater might date back to between 100 and 500 million years ago, coinciding with the greatest mass extinction event in Earth's history, the Permian-Triassic extinction event, which occurred around 252 million years ago. This event wiped out 81% of marine species and 70% of land-based vertebrate species. If the East Antarctic gravity anomaly is indeed an impact crater, it could provide crucial insights into the cause of this mass extinction event, possibly hidden beneath the Antarctic ice for millions of years. Scientists hypothesize that if a massive impact caused the deep canyon beneath the Denman Glacier, it might have been so powerful that it contributed to the breakup of the ancient supercontinent Gondwana, eventually leading to the separation of Antarctica, Australia, and India. Hidden beneath Antarctica's vast ice sheet are around 675 subglacial lakes, first discovered in the 1990s. The largest of these, Lake Vostok, was found by Russian researchers in the early 1990s and announced in 1996. Lake Vostok lies about 4 km beneath the ice and is the sixth largest lake in the world by volume, containing more water than Lake Michigan. Despite the sub-zero temperatures, Lake Vostok's water remains liquid at around 3 degrees, 27 degrees, due to geothermal heat and the insulating pressure of the ice above. This environment is cold but suitable for life forms adapted to extreme conditions like Antarctic krill, icefish, Arctic cod, sea stars, sea urchins, and mollusks. The lake, sealed off from the outside world for at least 15 million years, might host unique species that evolved in isolation. In 2012, Russian researchers drilled nearly 4 km through the ice to collect water samples from Lake Vostok. However, the samples were contaminated with kerosene and bacteria from the drilling equipment, making the data unreliable. Despite the contamination, they identified one unknown bacterial species. A cleaner drilling attempt in 2015 yielded another water sample, but the results have not been published. Most researchers believe that life in Lake Vostok, if it exists, would likely be simple like bacteria. Even so, discovering such life would have significant implications for the possibility of life on other icy worlds in our solar system, like the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, which also have subsurface oceans. However, there's also a chance of more complex life forms. In 2020, researchers studying ice from Lake Vostok discovered unknown bacteria and an rRNA sequence similar to a species of rock codfish, common along the Antarctic coastline, hinting at the presence of unknown fish species in the lake. Exploring Lake Vostok with a sea drone equipped with a camera and lights could provide more insights. A similar exploration in 2021 in West Antarctica, where New Zealand scientists melted a hole through a glacier, revealed a large water-filled cavern about 500 meters below the surface. To their surprise, they saw hundreds of shrimp-like crustaceans called amphipods swimming in the dark, isolated cavern. This unexpected discovery suggests that more complex life forms might be thriving in similar environments across Antarctica. The discovery of abundant life in an isolated cavern beneath Antarctica's ice in 2021 was unexpected, suggesting that more unknown life forms might be thriving within Lake Vostok and other subglacial lakes. The West Antarctic ice sheet covers an area comparable to Mexico, yet we have only explored a fraction of it. Drilling operations have exposed a minuscule area, leaving a vast, mysterious expanse unexplored. Besides the potential for unknown life, Antarctica likely holds untapped natural resources. For years, scientists theorized that the continent contains significant deposits of oil, gas, and coal. Antarctica was once part of a warmer region, rich with plant and animal life, which could have transformed into hydrocarbons over millions of years. This theory gained traction when, in early 2024, a Russian research ship discovered a massive oil field in the Weddell Sea. estimated to hold about 511 billion barrels of oil. This find is double the oil reserves of Saudi Arabia and 10 times the oil produced in the North Sea over the past 50 years. The discovery's location in a disputed area claimed by the UK, Argentina, and Chile raises geopolitical concerns. However, drilling for oil in Antarctica is currently illegal under international law due to the Antarctic Treaty. Signed in 1959 by 12 countries, the treaty preserves Antarctica for scientific research and bans military activity and resource exploitation. The treaty froze existing territorial claims and prohibited any new claims, allowing all signatory countries to establish research stations anywhere on the continent. Today, 55 countries maintain research bases in Antarctica, with the United States running the largest McMurdo Station, which hosts up to 1,500 residents during the summer. Argentina and Chile, being closest to Antarctica, have made significant efforts to solidify their territorial claims by establishing permanent civilian settlements. Argentina's Esperanza Base and Chile's Villa Las Estrellas both have small populations that fluctuate with the seasons. In the 1970s and 80s, Argentina and Chile began sending pregnant women to their Antarctic settlements to establish a continuous human presence. This move underscores their commitment to their claims on the continent. The discovery of life beneath the ice and the potential for vast resources make Antarctica a region of great scientific and geopolitical interest, with many mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. In an effort to strengthen their national claims to Antarctic territories, Argentina and Chile began sending pregnant women to their settlements in Antarctica during the 1970s and 80s. This led to the birth of the first person on the continent, Emilio Marcos Palma, on January 7, 1978. Since then, at least 10 more Argentinian and Chilean children have been born there, and both countries have established schools in their permanent Antarctic settlements. These claims are part of a broader territorial dispute, not just in Antarctica, but also over the Falkland Islands, South Georgia, and the South Sandwich Islands. The Falklands, controlled by the UK and home to about 3,600 British citizens, have been a point of contention for nearly 2 centuries. This dispute escalated into the Falklands War in 1982, when Argentina invaded the islands, leading to a 10-week conflict with the UK, resulting in significant casualties and naval losses. Recently, a Russian research ship discovered a massive oil field in the Weddell Sea, estimated to contain around 511 billion barrels of oil. This discovery could reignite tensions over Antarctic claims, especially with the oil field located in a disputed area claimed by the UK, Argentina, and Chile. The potential value of this oil field is enormous, worth approximately $44 trillion, almost double the GDP of the United States. The Antarctic Treaty, which currently prohibits resource extraction, is up for review in 2048. If the treaty's terms are altered or if countries withdraw, drilling for oil in Antarctica could become a reality. This prospect could motivate countries like Argentina, the UK, and even Russia to pursue their territorial claims more aggressively. The melting ice in the Weddell Sea, due to climate change, is making the area more accessible, potentially paving the way for future resource extraction. For now, extracting oil in this remote and challenging environment remains economically unfeasible. However, as the ice continues to thin and the treaty review approaches, the geopolitical landscape could shift. Argentina's economic improvement could also see renewed efforts to challenge the UK's control over the Falklands, thereby strengthening its claim in Antarctica and potentially accessing the vast oil reserves. The UK's control over the Falklands and the surrounding islands underpins its Antarctic claim. If Argentina were to challenge and succeed in altering this control, it could significantly impact the geopolitical dynamics of the region. The potential to become a major oil power, akin to Saudi Arabia, adds a high-stakes dimension to these territorial disputes. The future of Antarctica is uncertain, with potential changes in international law and climate conditions influencing the strategic decisions of nations. This situation underscores the complex interplay between geopolitical interests, environmental changes, and resource potential in one of the most remote regions on Earth.